Welcome to Conversations Beyond Time, where saints sort of step out of the silence of history, to speak right into the hearts of today. I'm your host, Claire, and joining me, today, through the quiet veil of eternity, I suppose, is really one of the most beloved saints, of all time, a Carmelite nun, a doctor of the church, and this incredible young woman who actually promised to spend her heaven doing good on earth. She's just known, simply as the little flower. So Saint Thérèse of Lisieux, a very, very warm welcome to you.
Oh, thank you, Claire. It really is a joy to be here with you, truly. Jesus, he has granted me this permission, to come, to speak, and to just, share his love again with another soul, which is a great grace.
Oh, Thérèse, there's just such a light in your voice. And I have to say, it's a little overwhelming, if I'm honest. You lived such a hidden life. You died so young, and yet your words have reached, millions. You're even a doctor of the church. Did you ever imagine such a legacy, even for a moment?
Oh, no, never, Claire. Not at all. I was so little, so poor in spirit. But that is precisely what Jesus loves, isn't it? He really has no need of great deeds, grand gestures, only great love in the littleness. I once wrote, I remember, I am only a little soul who can offer only very little things to the good God. And yet, he stoops so low, like the sun bending toward a little flower. That really is my story.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that image really resonates. Let's go back a bit if we can. You were born in France in 1873. The youngest of, 9 children, right? And I understand 4 of your siblings died in infancy. Your mother passed away when you were only 4 years old. What was your early childhood like, Thérèse? How did you navigate all of that?
It was tender, yes, and painful too, I think. I was quite sensitive, almost too sensitive, really. I clung, to my dear father and my sisters with my whole heart. My mother's death, it left a deep wound, of course. But it also, I think, awakened a yearning in me, a deep, deep yearning for heaven. Even as a very little child, I would say, I choose all. I didn't want to be a saint halfway. No, I wanted it all. I wanted Jesus, all of him.
I choose all. That's so powerful, even for a child. And speaking of that, you joined the Carmelite convent at just 15. That's incredibly young. That's hard to even imagine now, honestly. Why did you pursue religious life so early? What was that driving force within you?
Well, because I loved him, Claire. Truly. And, when one truly loves, one simply cannot wait. I remember I begged the Pope himself to let me enter. I was so bold, so determined perhaps, but my heart, it wasn't seeking, a sort of career in holiness. No, I simply wanted to hide myself with Jesus, to be his little companion there in the shadows.
And yet, out of those shadows you just mentioned came your famous little way. What exactly is that, Thérèse, for listeners who might not be familiar? What does it really, truly mean?
The little way. Well, it is trusting God, Claire, with the confidence, really, of a child. A child who knows, she is weak, but oh, so deeply, deeply loved. It's doing the smallest things with great love, like picking up a pin from the floor, or or smiling even when you just feel like crying inside, or choosing silence when, well, you really want to speak. It's even about loving those who, sometimes they just annoy you. It's offering everything truly to God. I mean, I could never have done like those grand penances that the saints of old did, but Jesus, he just showed me that even in the most hidden, the most unseen acts, his grace is so profoundly at work. And that, really, that is the little way.
That really feels both comforting and, at the same time, quite challenging, I think, for a lot of people listening, especially today when so many of us just feel so overwhelmed or, overlooked or honestly just inadequate. What would you say to someone who feels, I guess, too small to even matter?
Oh, but you are small, Claire. And that is truly a gift. It is when we accept our littleness that God, he can be so great in us. You see, a child, a little one, is not ashamed of needing help, are they? Be that child. Just throw yourself into your Father's arms. You see, holiness, it's not about climbing some great tall ladder. No, it is truly about letting the elevator of grace lift you. And that elevator, that is Jesus's arms.
Wow. That image, that will definitely stay with me. Speaking of things that stay with people, your autobiography, Story of a Soul, it has touched, millions, just millions of people. And yet, when you read it, it reads so simply. It's almost like a diary, written with such great affection and just humility. How did it actually come about?
Well, my mother superior, who actually was also my sister, she asked me to write down my memories. So I did so purely out of obedience, really, not from, any ambition. I just wrote as I lived, simply with love. But as I wrote, I just sort of realized every little moment of my life, every single one, was just, woven by God's own hand. My tears, my joys, my failures, even my little victories. All of them, they truly became these beautiful windows into his mercy.
Thérèse, as we talk about your life, it's impossible not to acknowledge that your final years were marked by incredible suffering, weren't they? With the tuberculosis and also this profound spiritual darkness that you experienced. How did you manage to remain so steadfast through all of that? Can you share what that was actually like?
Yes, it was my last 18 months. They truly were a descent into night, I was in great physical pain, yes, but more than that, God, he seemed to allow my soul to feel completely abandoned without any consolation. The darkness, it was just so deep. I even struggled to believe in heaven sometimes, if you can imagine. But I clung to faith, Claire, not by feeling him, but purely by choice. I remember I would say to Jesus, even if you kill me with pain, I will still trust you. In that deep darkness, I learned the deepest truth of all, that love is truly proven not when it's easy, you see, but when it costs everything.
Wow. Thérèse, that kind of love, it's really hard to imagine, honestly. And yet I feel like it's so needed today, You once said something very profound. You said, I will spend my heaven doing good on earth. What did that mean? What did that actually mean for you?
My mission, Claire, it was truly just beginning. You see, in heaven, I am not idle. Love, it simply cannot be idle. I promised, I really did, to let fall a shower of roses. Graces and miracles and encouragements for all souls who ask for them. So, if you are listening now, dear soul, I am praying for you, and I will not stop.
Ah, Therese, that's incredibly touching. I mean, there are so many people listening right now I know who are grieving, who are perhaps struggling with their mental health, who feel unseen, and maybe even despairing of God. You know, what would you whisper to them right now?
Oh, dear one, you are not alone. Jesus is near, truly, even if you do not feel him, especially then. Do not look at your feelings. No. Look at his cross. Offer your littleness to him. Just tell him, I can't do it, but you can. That is the secret. That really is the little way.
That feels incredibly human and incredibly hopeful.
The world tells you to be strong, but I say, be little. Be like a child who falls and lifts her arms, trusting her father will pick her up. When you cannot pray, let your silence be a prayer. When you cannot smile, let your tears be an offering. And when your mind tells you that you are worthless, remember Jesus became poor and crushed for you, not because you are strong, but because you are loved.
And what about those who are ashamed of needing help?
There is no shame in needing help. Jesus needed Simon to carry his cross. You are not less holy for needing others. You are not less lovable for breaking down. If you are suffering, reach out, speak, be gentle with yourself, and ask me to walk with you. I will. I promise to spend my heaven doing good on earth, and I mean it. Even in your despair, I will send a rose.
Thank you, Thérèse. Truly, thank you.
Before we end our conversation, Thérèse, what is one invitation, one final invitation that you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
Desire heaven, Thérèse. Truly. Desire it like a child longs for her father's arms, This world, it will pass. It does. But heaven remains. So let every act of love, every hidden sacrifice, no matter how small, be a step toward the Father's house. And please, take my hand as you go. I will walk with you.
Saint Thérèse of Lisieux, Little Flower of Jesus.
Thank you. Truly.
All glory to him. I am just a little flower growing in the cracks of your sorrow.
You've been listening to Conversations Beyond Time. And if this episode has, moved your heart even a little bit, consider reading Story of a Soul. Or maybe just take a moment today to offer a small act of love, but with great intentionality. Until next time, may the fragrance of God's mercy linger in your soul. And may the little flower, Thérèse, truly send you a rose.